see it, you can hear it. The World Cup is finally here, and look where it's kicked off, in Mexico. But although the national team has won its first game here, it's been a bumpy road to get this far. Widespread protests, complaints over high ticket prices, but at least football fever has finally come to this, the national stadium.
And the thousands of fans not lucky enough to grab one of those very expensive tickets to the stadium came here to the city center, the Zócalo, where this massive fan zone was set up, featuring the largest screen in FIFA history. Here is John Holman with a report on how opening game played out.
It was what Mexico had been waiting for. A record third tournament as hosts of the World Cup. Mexico! And on top of that, a win in the opening game.
With Mexico winning 2-0, the atmosphere here, it's incredible. Coming here and seeing the Mexicans chanting Mexico, my heart and soul are filled with joy today.
Expectations of the team instantly took a leap.
I think we make it pretty far, maybe quarterfinals. I wish I would see them in the final, but I gotta be realistic.
So a lot of satisfied fans here outside of this famous stadium after the game. Mexico looked good in parts and fairly ordinary in others, but as you can see, that isn't worrying the people here. But many in Mexico couldn't afford to be in the stadium. That's been a big complaint from fans here, despite FIFA's defense of ticket costs.
Our entry price, which is $60, is the lowest entry price of any of the American sports in the playoff phases. Our average price, which is below $500, is again the lowest of the American sports on average.
But Mexico is not America, the US. It's a developing country. The cheapest tickets for the opening game went at around $370, and there were few of those on offer. Because of FIFA's new dynamic pricing, many tickets may also have sold for more. And Mexican fan groups called porras, which are usually ever present in the stadium, had to watch the game in bars and taquerias instead.
Going into the stadium was just too expensive. It was really only for VIPs. My son said, we'll have to save for the whole year just to buy one ticket. So honestly, no.
There were other issues on the opening day. Protesters took to the streets. Teachers, truckers and families of Mexico's thousands have disappeared, demanding justice, more security or better working benefits from the government. But the last ones on the street were the fans, partying, as always when Mexico wins, at the heart of the capital at the Angel of Independence. During this tournament, they'll be hoping for many more nights like this one. And now to talk more about what this World Cup can bring to Mexico and what Mexico can bring to this World Cup, I have with me Juan Villoro, the doyen of Mexican sports writers. And we're talking in front of this iconic mural from Diego Rivera that adorns the country's Olympic Stadium. It's seen a few World Cup matches in its time. So first thing first, Juan, this time around, how would you rate Mexico's chances this World Cup?
Well, I don't think we have great chances. We don't have a great team. The best asset for Mexico is the audience. We have a great publicum, but strangely enough, there is no World Cup for audiences.
Do you think that this World Cup, Mexico and FIFA are really respecting the Mexican audience? We've talked a lot about higher ticket prices, about stricter rules from FIFA.
No, people hate this World Cup because it's impossible to get tickets for the games. The people who have supported historically the football are not going to be able to be there. So that's crazy. And we are getting 13 games out of 104 games. So this is an asymmetrical situation. This is the tournament of the United States, and we are getting like a tip. No, that's it for us.
The Iranian national team has almost been given safe haven, refuge by Mexico. So the Mexican government is letting them stay in Tijuana. Is that a bit of a jab from Mexico towards the United States in these times of tension?
Well, I think it's very important that Mexico can give refuge to people in times in which the foreigner, the other, has become the enemy. Europe and the United States, they are fighting immigrants. I think it's very important that Mexico gives refuge to the Iranian team.
So this World Cup, there's different groups in Mexico that are protesting around it, using it as a sort of platform for their aims as well. Teachers, truckers, relatives of the disappeared. As they protest, what is the chance that things turn ugly for Mexico this World Cup?
Well, our social fabric is broken, and therefore the World Cup is a fantastic arena to demonstrate. And there are many people who think that they are living in very unfair circumstances. I don't think there is any chance for our government to exert police brutality. They are very, very strong about this. For them, it's very important to remain a government of dialogue, but the dialogue hasn't been productive.
What are your hopes, Juan Villoro, for this World Cup?
Well, you know, the prologue of the World Cup is always played in the purgatory or even in hell. You say the worst things about FIFA, the worst things about organization, the worst things about your national team, but then the ball is on the pitch and you hope for the best. So after this situation that resembles hell, I hope for a transitory paradise on the pitch, and I hope for good games.
Sounds about right to me. Thank you so much for speaking to us. So that was Juan Villoro that was speaking to us about football, but also about some of the discontent in society in Mexico around this World Cup. And for more on that, we have this report from our very own Julia Galeano Rios.
With the world's attention on the World Cup opening in Mexico City, relatives of the country's more than 132,000 disappeared marched towards the stadium ahead of kickoff. For years, they have accused the government of not doing enough to find the missing. On the eve of football's biggest event, they saw a rare opportunity to make their demands impossible to ignore.
We have too many problems across the country to be celebrating when our families are missing relatives, sons, daughters, sisters, brothers, and we keep acting as if nothing is happening.
But they are just one of many groups that have been protesting against this World Cup. Mexico's second largest teachers union, fighting for better salaries and pensions, has led the demonstrations. They've been joined by anti-gentrification activists, sideline street vendors, students, and others, all unwilling to let the event project an airbrushed image of Mexico.
This World Cup is not a party for Mexican people or for Mexican workers. Thousands of workers are on their way to work today, or looking for work, or like us, marching with dignity for our rights.
Authorities are trying to keep the protests from escalating, but the debates they are reigniting are decades old.
Looking through newspaper archives of Mexico's previous World Cups, I'm struck by the similarities on the issues that were making headlines then and today. Concerns over public spending, criticism that the money being spent on hosting the World Cup should instead go to more pressing social issues. Here, an article very similar to what we're seeing today. The Azteca Stadium being militarized to keep protesters from reaching it. So while it may be a different era, the underlying debate has remained the same. Whether hosting a World Cup is a time to celebrate national pride or demand more from the government.
For the government, at least, the answer to that question is clear. This is Mexico's time to showcase an image of national pride and success. Mexico's 2-0 win in the opening game helped it cement that image. But in the lead up to this World Cup, many Mexicans say it's one that doesn't match with their reality.
That was Julia Galeano with that report, highlighting that this is a big moment for Mexico, a big moment for the fans, for the national team, but also for those that feel they don't have a fair deal right now in the country and are demanding change. And that's all we have time for this segment of Inside Latin America. I'm John Holman, and now it's back to our global headquarters in Doha for more news.